The views and opinions during this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the sponsors or executive producers. This program contains conversation, discussion, debate, which a truly free society would neither fear nor suppress. However, in some socially inept areas, certain religious fanatics and ultra-sensitive and extreme political affiliates violate your First Amendment rights by attempting to control what you watch, listen to, write, and speak. We feel that this is unconstitutional and un-American. And now we present the MKULTRASOUND podcast. Live from Studio Diablo in Chicago, Illinois, this is MKULTRASOUND.
Get with the countdown.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man. Blast off for Kicksville. Shake this square world. Blast off for Kicksville.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man. Get with the countdown.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man. Blast off for Kicksville. Shake this square world. Blast off for Kicksville.
I speak jive.
Forget it, man.
Guess what? It's not Sunday.
Wednesday, hump day.
It is, and it's a very special hump day because we've got a special guest with us. And thank you, man. It's Reid Hyams.
Oh my God!
A true legend, the founder, president, operations manager of the Chicago Trax recording studio for close to 2.5 decades, from '80 to 2003. Total man, insanity. You know, I moved here to work with that niche that you worked with all those years, and it worked out pretty good till they all left town.
Well, they came back.
Oh, Frank! When Frank left, that was it. And he was living in Rogers Park at the time. And then when he left, I'm like, okay, it's over. Well,
You mean Frankie Nardello?
Chris Conley was still here. Yeah. Groovy man.
Groovy man.
Chris is still here. And Cinderella Pussy, she's a mommy now. And
Chris Conley
she's still around here. That's what I said. Chris Conley.
Just letting the audience know.
So, it's been another pretty good week so far.
Yeah, so can we have an update on you inviting your
The
lady
Asian
friend?
Yeah. I did.
tell.
Remember when I was saying on the show Sunday, okay, Reid, to give you some background, I met a woman online.
Who's the Asian?
And
That's the background.
this one, well, that's all. I met her online. We set a date. We met downtown at Riverwalk, which was, we met there for a meet. Well, it was an interview. As I said, she fucking interviewed me. She seriously did.
It is really what it is.
And that went a little longer than I thought it would. And then we come back here, and we were talking Sunday, and I said, I'm going to ask her to go to Hot Dog Fest with me, which is this Saturday. And I already bought the ticket, so I bought $60 worth of $60 worth of tickets for $50.
Okay.
So she wasn't going.
Don't tell her that.
She knows now.
She's going to see you. No, So when she said yes, she'd go. I said, well, you know, she said yes.
Sorry,
And then, but I called her that night. We talked for 3 hours and 6 minutes. And
That's so cute.
so then,
That
well,
is
she
cute.
said, look at the clock. I'm like, it's 12:20. I've got to get up at 5 and go to work tomorrow. So I worked Monday, and I'm in a good mood, of course.
Yay.
And then that night, she called again,
Aw.
and we talked again.
And then I worked to work and everything.
I worked yesterday,
I love
and she
that
called
part.
me again last night.
Aw.
She likes hot dogs.
So, in Asian, my brother told me.
Really likes hot dogs.
I'm going to ask her the big question about how she feels about the word Oriental. Because as we discussed on the very first show, and you weren't here, I was with this big Bernie Sanders supporter going camping a couple years ago, and he'd mentioned that his mother had said Oriental, and his sister, who I once dated, said, you can't say that. And I'm like, bullshit.
Right.
Okay, so I talked to some of my Asian friends, and I asked,
Right.
and they said, we don't have a problem with it.
Not disrespectful.
Liberal white people have a problem with it. And then Margaret Cho, I Googled it, Margaret Cho, feminist comedian, I think is gay.
Right.
She said, the only people who have a problem with Oriental are liberal white people. So there we go.
White people ruin everything.
Well,
So
that's
with that,
kind of a funny
Do you know
too.
the word that we don't say anymore, the R word?
Yes.
It's
been replaced by Trump tard.
No.
What's the R word?
It's one we can't say anymore. Begins with an R, ends with a D. So she.
What about Reid?
Reid tard. It's R-E-I-D.
Can you say it?
It's the
T-
retard show.
this is the retard show. The Reid Tard. Okay. No, but the Asian says it. She heard one of our shows. She goes, she says, I say. So I decided I told my brother today, I'm going to start saying mook. Because my friend Dale said mook. I'm like, well, that sounds racist. I've got to Google it.
That does sound wrong.
And it just says it calling somebody
too
an
close
idiot.
to
Basically,
Yeah,
saying
it's
you're an
not
idiot, right? So I asked my brother
Cool,
today.
man.
My brother does special effects.
Right.
And I asked him, I said, I'm going to start saying mook.
Yeah.
And he said,
Not good.
what about sped? Can you say sped?
Now it's just getting silly.
I think we better stay away from sped.
That's another thing I don't know.
I don't even
sped?
know it.
Special ed. Special ed.
Oh, thanks for spelling that out. I didn't know either, Cassie. I didn't know
I'm
either.
a millennial. Like,
Sped.
Yeah, she's
We don't
a
talk about
millennial.
these
And
things.
Getting us in hot water.
she posted a while ago on the internet. She posted, how's it go? How does a generation?
So millennials actually cut off at my age. I'm 26, so people who are 25 to like 35 are millennials.
What is the new
generation under that? I think it's like X or something
Yes,
like
it's
that, but
X.
I call
It's
them
back to
Generation
X?
Tide Pod Eaters. Or challengers, because they're the ones who
Bath
always
salt
like
eaters, yeah.
accept challenges and do stupid stuff. Like
Those kids doing
So
stupid
basically,
stuff. She's talking about kids. She's 26.
you tip the mic down a little bit, just closer.
Yeah.
So
Get up in
Closer to your mouth.
yes. Did you see that hot dog mask that I put up online yesterday? It's just a leather mask with a big hole in it right here with a
So
tube.
you're going on the date to the hot dog fest, and
Yeah.
you're gonna watch this new woman. You're gonna see how she eats
Oh, come
a
on.
hot dog. You're gonna look.
Well, now I am.
What did she put on them?
Yes, that's the thing. I'm going to see what she. As long as it's not ketchup.
How many bites did it take her?
So then I'm gonna bring her here and give her a tour of Casa Diablo. Wow. Because I'm sure she's gonna
Bringing
have
her back
questions.
to the crib.
I'm sure she's gonna have some questions. And
Yeah.
So, because she does. She questions everything. She analyzes everything. And
she's curious.
We make
wants to
fun,
know.
by the way.
but she is very easy on the eyes. She works
She
in
has to be.
multimedia.
Yeah.
She's a model also, and she does a lot. She wears a lot of hats
Bonus.
like me.
Let's call her up right now.
Let's get her on the show.
Type her in.
Put her on
Get
a.
her on the show. She's becoming a new character.
I don't think she wants
In
to
her
be
own
on the
way.
show.
She already is.
Yeah.
She already is. Yes.
Well, when I do
And I
refer to
kid
her,
when
when
I-
I do refer to her with a name, it'll be a pet name. It'll be a nickname. So
Okay.
you know,
a little
I am with
covert, Mrs.
know,
X type thing.
Yeah,
that. Today, we'll talk more about. Now, since that date is Saturday, and we're doing a show, we have a show on Sunday
Hear all about it
with
on
Angela
Sunday.
Dank. We'll talk about it then, about
Looking
everything.
forward to it. Yep.
So with the hot dog thing, real quick, I need to do this. So just bear with me for a minute.
Who do you think? Gang hit? Screwed up drugstore? Unlucky John? Or an unhappy love affair? Hey, don't tell me this shit's getting to you. Not Harry Callahan. Say it ain't so.
No, this stuff isn't getting to me. The shootings, the knifings, the beatings. Old ladies being bashed in the head for their Social Security checks. Teachers being thrown out of a fourth floor window because they don't give A's. That doesn't bother me a bit.
Come on, Harry, take it easy.
Or this job either, having to wade through the scum of this city, being swept away by bigger and bigger waves of corruption, apathy, and red tape. Nah, that doesn't bother me. But you know what does bother me?
What?
You know what makes me really sick to my stomach?
What?
It's watching you stuff your face with those hot dogs. Nobody, I mean nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog.
That goes out to Two Dog Mark down in Baton Rouge. Has been busting my balls about the ketchup thing.
Yeah, Chicagoans love their ketchup,
You know what today?
but not the mustard, right?
So we talked about those shootings. You know, Chicagoans hate ketchup. You don't
Hate
put
the ketchup.
Yeah,
Okay,
right, yeah,
it's
no,
one
because you
or
have
the
no
other.
ketchup
I
on a
wasn't
hot dog.
sure.
No, it's
Thank you.
banned.
Yeah,
I got it now.
Ketchup's a no-no.
Now I know
Yeah.
what to do.
Ketchup's a no-no in his house.
To fit in.
When Dale brought ketchup here before, I took it and pitched it in the alley after he used it. I'm like, get that out of my house.
Taking it a little far.
I do. So today,
Don't do that at
we
the
talked about the
barbecue.
shootings Sunday, which is sad. That shit that happened
Yeah, I know.
before we did the show on Sunday is
Right.
just sick.
Murderous weekend.
You know, Trump went to visit El Paso and Dayton today, and there were protests. They were on, you know, they're trying to blame him, and then of course he's not exactly well spoken,
Right.
And he just insults everybody with
Sure.
whatever he
Puts his
says,
foot in his mouth, and then
and
oh
he.
boy.
So they don't want him. They said, "Don't come."
It makes
And
it funny,
he,
though.
He pointed out that the kid in Dayton
Yeah.
was a lefty, a far lefty, very progressive.
Right.
But they didn't. The media doesn't want to bring that up. Of course, they don't.
Right.
But you know, and of course, they want to blame this on him.
Sure.
And as I said last week, and as the Asian lady said, I don't necessarily think he's a racist. I think he's an asshole, but he's an enabler for racists, and he's definitely woken that whole thing up. And it just. So I hope I hope they had fun protesting because those are the people who don't have jobs, right? we have another alligator in town today. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
There was a drug raid last night, and I love waking up to this shit. So I'm going to read the headline. Chicago.
Does he have a name?
Another alligator in Chicago. This is from USA Today. Police raid, discovered guns, drugs, and a gator. The Chicago isn't quite ready to see you later, alligator. The Chicago Sun-Times reports officers were serving a search warrant at a Northwest Side house when a 3-foot alligator, along with some guns and drugs, they turned the alligator over to animal control. Now this is getting great, because a couple weeks ago, that guy he did a prank where he said he caught an alligator in Humboldt Park, the same lagoon, but its mouth was already taped shut, and then even better, the alligator wasn't wet.
Oh yeah,
so
that.
folks. And this coincides with today, just actually happens to be the day Chance the Snapper lives on. The Revolution Brewery unveiled their new Humboldt Gator beer today.
Aw, cool,
and that guy
man.
who wrangled the gator came to town, so he's got his 15 minutes
Really
big
good
time.
idea.
So we should just
Revolution
move him
Brewing.
here. Yeah.
That's using the noggin. Wish I would have thought
So
of
that's
that.
just crazy. Anything intrigue you happened this week? It's been a short week so far.
It really has, yeah.
So we'll have more to talk about on Sunday, I hope, right?
Probably Trump.
Trump. I'm just sick of hearing his fucking name. But the guy, he can't say anything nice. You know, he's just a fucking asshole. So, I just
say many things.
I wish there was a
correctly.
decent candidate to go against him, but they don't seem to have one. Like, so that's that, and he's had enough 15 minutes on this show. We're going to come right back, and we're going to talk to Mr. Reid Hyams. So stay tuned.
You're listening to the MK Ultrasound podcast. Please feel free to contact us at podcast@mkultramagazine.com.
All right, man. What's up, Reid?
You're up, Alan.
Since 5. You've been up since 2.
I have.
For those of you, what's wrong?
No, I was saying, can you hear him?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, he
good.
needs to
Can
get
you
up on
hear
there a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Technical difficulty. We're going to replace that cord before Sunday. So,
I got a quote.
Reid, explain to those who don't know about you what you do, what you've done.
I've done. Well, I founded Chicago Trax Recording. And for 25 years, we made a ton of, well,
Yeah, we've got to switch these.
great
Just
records
trade
and
mics. Just trade mics.
3 locations. We did,
Now,
Yeah.
your background, did you engineer and produce as well as
no, my background is strictly in music.
Okay.
I studied composition with Bill Russo. I taught for Bill Russo. My degrees are in composition and theory. I played jazz piano. And one day I fell on my head and decided I'm going to buy a studio so I can record my own music.
What year was this?
1980.
Okay, and that's just about the time the industrial scene was starting to happen here.
Yeah, exactly.
Frank and Al had Special Effect, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I met Al in 83.
You met Al in 8. Yeah, that sounds about right. And did you...
And you started over on Broadway, right? Or was there another location
No, we
before
started.
that?
We started in a house on Wayne and Schubert in Lincoln Park,
Okay.
and we had the entire house. So there's really no one living there. Eventually, part of it was rented out, And we started out 8-track, and then we went 16-track, and then 24-track, and then all of a sudden people started coming in, like Greg Allman and Al, you name it.
And you got to understand, people. R. Kelly used to record at this man's
We're gonna get there.
studio.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
One of the many artists.
We have a lot of time to get that. That's a hot.
intriguing.
It's a hot topic right now. But
It sure
that's
is.
we're gonna get to that. But the history is much more interesting than a pervert. So. So then you moved it.
I agree.
You moved it over on Boys Town, across
Right.
from 99th floor, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, yeah, 994.
Was it always Boys
Street.
Town either? Even in that time?
You know, when we moved there, I didn't realize it was Boys Town.
Right,
It had a lot of Latin gangs.
And it was kind of a ballpark area too, right?
Yeah, it was a
Wrigley?
ballpark area. It was
Pretty
kind
much.
of rough. We had
Yeah,
a corner
Addison.
liquor store.
Right.
And
I know Mick Levine and
Yeah, Mickey.
Mickey
Mickey was
Levine
there.
from 99th floor.
Mickey was across the street.
Yeah, he was there the whole time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Al would go over there and buy clothes and hang
Fucking
out.
sit and talk
They've been friends
for
forever.
hours.
Everybody would go there.
Everybody
Well,
would
it's
hang
kind of
there,
place you
yeah.
hung out. You know, when I moved here, you just hung out there.
Right.
And 99th floor was the shit. And if you were a band from out of town, that's where you went and get
That's
clothes.
what everybody wanted.
Find out what was happening and check
Way
out the
cooler than the
girls.
alley. I mean, the alley was cool, but it's more for kids.
No, I didn't know if it was
I
the
like the
happening
alley.
place.
Keep
The
them
real
on
rock and
board,
rollers
man.
went
yeah,
to
I
the
like the
99th
alley. He's
floor.
doing a good job. He's coming back.
Yes.
He's bringing the store back.
It's
and
back.
God damn it, that's
it's back.
awesome.
It's
You
where
opened it?
Yeah, it's been open. We talked about these rings.
Yeah, he went
Remember?
to Taboo for a
Yeah,
while.
but that's his
His
daughter.
daughter's place. Yeah.
Very cool.
But
We need
so
those
when you
mom and pop stores, guys.
when did you start bringing big names in?
Well, we actually started online. You know, we started when we hit 24-track. I mean, because formats really matter because of the compatibility.
You're still doing tape back then, right? Analog.
Oh, yeah, we did tape all the way till the end.
Oh,
we
great.
did digital as well. But, yeah, we do it 8-track. We're doing a lot of records. We're doing 16-track. We're doing a lot of records. As soon as we hit 24-track, and the formats really bring in more artists because basically that it was the format throughout the country and the world that people were recording on. So at that point, we started to see people like Al Jorgensen. We started to see Gavin Christopher. Greg Allman came in. Jeff Lober. You know, it just started to go and grow, and we shortly realized we need to get the hell out of there. Fuck.
Right. You need a
Time
bigger
to move
space.
to Boys Town.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when you were doing that in the house.
I recorded there
That's
with.
amazing.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a home studio. It was actually, that was a studio.
Yes,
The
it
hou- yeah.
was. I recorded there with a guy. It was the band project was called Fuck, but it was Dave who did some sound at Avalon at the time. Real blonde guy, short dreads, real cute. I don't know. It was fun though. That's a
not my
great
type.
studio even then, and I was fortunate enough
You were young,
to
weren't you?
record at his next studio over on
On
Larrabee.
Belmont, the one down by the
Chicago.
Greens.
Yeah.
We did. We worked for Sony
Fantastic
at one point,
studio.
and they came in, and we did the audio for "That Girl Is Mine," the lawsuit. There was a guy in Evanston that sued Sony Records and Michael Jackson for stealing "That Girl Is Mine," the song with Paul McCartney.
Right.
So they brought all the tapes in, and people, we'd be playing the tapes of Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, and people would open up the door and they go, "Oh, that sounds like Michael Jackson." We'd all turn around and go, "It is." And they go, "Yeah, right." That went on for like weeks, you know. Then we went to the trial.
How was that?
Our side won. I worked for Sony.
Okay. Yeah, Sony's got a few bucks.
They do. Well, you
What
know
that
what?
was, that, I miss the labels, man.
I do too. We lived through some of the best era of
I know,
rock and
man.
roll.
We definitely
I swear,
did.
from the 50s all the way to 2000.
Well,
And
about
at
2004 is
About
when
that, you're
when,
right.
when you started
Early
seeing record
2000s.
stores fall and Virgin and Tower and
Yeah.
even like
Powerhouses.
Borders Books was
They were
just
gods. I mean, these rock bands were just our gods.
You buy records everywhere.
yeah.
And it just fell apart.
So when you were when the crazy shit started happening with ministry and
Right from the day one.
so how did you deal with that, or did you just go along with it?
You know, I come from an artist background, a musician background. And Trax always had that, you know, frame of mind. You know, this is an artist studio. We make music. We weren't a jingle studio. You know,
Yeah, you did
we
good records.
we did records, and that was what people wanted to do, and that's what we wanted to do. So the insanity was just part of everything that we did. We loved it.
Yeah, it was a big. I think it was the reason I got involved because it was in the job description. You know, not like now where everybody's filming you with their phones and like selling off the TMZ.
Oh God!
You know,
thank God people don't have
thank
phones
God.
back.
Can you imagine?
Well,
Thank you, Jesus.
I wish they did. We missed a lot.
Yeah,
we did.
I heard. Two of the best books about that are one was Chris Conley's book is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's
And Al's
so
book is pretty
talented.
good about it. The thing about Al's book is I was told that there's no way he could have remembered the shit in that big fucking book. And
He's a smarter guy than you think.
He's pretty smart. Yeah, he's on top of it, but I don't know if he wrote that whole book.
I've been
I
told the
think
same
he did.
thing.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
It's a funny book,
You know,
though.
the guy who did ghostwrite it never called to ask me questions or anything. Like nobody did any kind of fact checking or anything.
No one called me.
No one
Wow.
did, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll tell you who called me. The producer for Terry Gross, who worked at Trax, one of our engineers who moved over there, and he said, I got Al's book, you got to get it. And I said, how am I going to get it? He said, we're sending it to you. We want you to read it. And I'm like,
That's what I did. All I did was read it. I never, you know.
I read a couple pages. And I'm like, oh,
It's
damn,
entertaining.
This never happened.
I
This
know.
never happened. This never happened. What the fuck?
You got something wrong in mind.
Talking about going in the studio and erasing people when they're supposed to come in and this and that. You know, I don't-
Oh, yeah. What Elle didn't realize is I had 2 sets of books. I really did, because I had one I took home.
Right.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Well, it wasn't because of Al. It was just that I was booking stuff in my house going back and forth, so I had to have a duplicate
Right.
when I went home. So anything erased, we just put back in.
So, how many of the records did they do there? They did everything up until they split. Was
God, I don't know.
Every Revco, every
Rev.
Did they do
so much
the one you were
ministry.
on?
Yes.
And that was the another prick in the hall.
Which one?
Dark Side of the Spoon.
Dark Side of the Spoon.
Dark Side of the Spoon.
It was another prick in the hall. Was the tribute that Martin Atkins did to him. I got two bands on that one.
Right.
Yeah, Electric Hellfire Club and Sunwheel Psychedelic, which were former members of Electric Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
You know, we did so many records.
Psalm
and
69.
Psalm 69.
My
yeah.
favorite, Filth Pig.
We did most of Psalm 69. I think they went to Lake Geneva for a month.
Now that is, from what I understand, and they bought Rick Nielsen's gear and brought it down to your studio. Is that the truth? Because that's what it says in the book.
Probably. I mean, whatever else says. That's Joe Shannon.
That probably is
Whatever
true,
else says.
actually, because Cheap Trick is from here.
Yeah, Rockford, which is
and
pretty much.
They
Chicago.
do have a friendship.
Yeah, well, do you
Well,
remember
they used to-
when I got Rick Nielsen on stage with Ministry in Milwaukee and they did Supernaut?
That's right.
Rick was looking at the guitars,
Oh, wow,
and my friend
Supernaut.
said, my buddy Greg Miner, who was in the Electric Hellfire Club at the time, and now he's got Sunwheel Psychedelic. He said, "Hey man, that's Rick Nielsen. He knows I'm a huge Cheap Trick fan." So I said, "Hey Rick, Alexander, do you want to come back?" And it was Al's birthday week after I did his birthday party here at Neo, and he's just like, "Xander, I love you. This is the best birthday of my life." Trying to do Al's voice, and then it was actually Greg who told me to say this. I said, "You guys should do a song together." And then they got up and did Supernaut. And Rick's doing the windmills and the kicks. And
No, we did Supernaut. Trent was on there.
yes, Trent Reznor did the vocals on that. Am I right?
Trent did the vocals on there.
Yeah. Wow.
And his record company said, well,
That was
why-
1,000 Homo DJs was the project.
Was that 1,000 Homo DJs?
Yeah.
Okay. But it was Supernaut. And,
Al redid it later with Ministry.
well, that's
at
what he
his
said.
studio.
I don't believe that. You know, and Trent says the same thing. But the bottom line was Wax Rex was putting it out. They called TVT, which was
yeah.
the label that Trent was signed to. Steve Gottlieb said, no, he can't be on there. Erase it. And
It's
Al was like,
it's on that box,
put a
that
different
the
name
black
on it.
box.
Didn't they just get
I
around
have the
it
black
by
box.
the way Al would get around it is just call himself a different name
Yeah.
in each project.
Well, no, he
Put it out anyway, kind of thing. At least in the early Wax Tracks days.
What
don't
I
know if
remember-
that got easy later.
You know, they wanted
Warners and
TVT wanted it off, Gottlieb wanted it off, everybody else wanted it on, and Al just took it in the studio and fucked it up with processors and put it out. And I always thought Trent was on there. Now Trent and Al say, well, it's not him, but at the time it was him.
Well, we know that
So-
now. I mean, it's on the black box, and it says featuring Trent Reznor. But that was right. That came out in '95, and TVT completely just dropped Wax Trax, the label, because I went to Danny Fletcher's house one day, and they said we're having a liquid lunch. I was there the day that TVT said no more. The last record they put out was the Adios by Kim FDM, which came out on the same day as the Columbine shit.
Yeah.
So it got tied into the whole Columbine bullshit.
Well, is that when TVT took over the Wax Trax catalog?
Yes.
Okay, so at that time,
because then everything had the TVT stamp on it, which
Right.
because you like the Wax Trax stamp on your shit.
so Gottlieb, who owned the label, called me up one day, and he's like, Reid, do you happen to have that tape with Trent on Supernaut? I'm like,
now he wants it.
I'm like, yeah, Steve. No one likes Steve. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I have it.
You're so cool.
He goes, well, can I get a copy? I go, yeah, everybody has a copy. We put it out. He's like, fuck you, and he slammed down the phone.
Awesome.
I had it as a single. Yeah, that was on No More DJs. Yeah.
Why hasn't Trent ever come back and said to Al, hey, I was a roadie for you. I stole my sound from you. Here, now that I'm doing all these, getting Grammys and, doing sound checks, I'm going to give back to you, Al, and I'm going to do a song with you.
He said that in
Has he?
documentaries.
But they
and
haven't
stuff,
really
yeah.
done much of anything.
No, he did.
I feel like Trent should give him a little leg up at this point.
But I don't know. I mean, the music industry is kind of fucked up right now these days. I mean, nobody really thinks about the fucking songs. Nobody cares about the collaboration. They just want to how many ever likes you get on social media.
And why does he want to split his
now that
80% down to 40?
Nobody will even book your band if you don't have so many likes. It's insane.
Millions,
small bars.
likes.
Small bars in a city. You don't have many likes. We're not gonna have you in here. The fuck. Some people don't. Some people live outside of that world.
They didn't read Tour
We all
Smart.
did. Every person at this
Martin
table.
Atkins' book, Tour Smart.
Tour Smart. They didn't read that. That's what happened.
So Martin's doing the
he's doing
a Band Smart spoken word tour here soon. He's going to be in November 1st, I think, or no, end of November in New Orleans, and he's going to be with Mark Williams or Too Dark Mark, our executive producer, and then he's going to go to Mark's studio, A-Lab Media, and play drums on Mark's new Nadja songs.
Wow.
And I've heard these songs; they're great.
Wow.
Yeah, they're.
He liked my electronic music, by the way.
Oh yeah,
He's like, I want to use it on the show.
we still do. We want to use it.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna like my rock
Because
stuff,
after
too.
this show, we have to quit using the Electric Hellfire Club on the outro.
All right.
Because they, I keep getting notices from YouTube about it. So they're like, well, you haven't violated anything
Groovy little
yet.
song, that sucks.
But
We
you're
gotta get
going
rid of it.
to.
Yeah. So
We should keep going with it and just be rebellious. Or not.
Cut you off.
I want to real quick. I'm going to give you guys a chance to take a break. I want to play this song. This is my favorite Ministry album, Filth Pig, and it came out after a long lull of no material coming out from Ministry.
You're listening to the MKUltrasound podcast. Please feel free to contact us at podcast@mkultramagazine.com.
Well, you know what? You missed something before that break. So if you're watching YouTube, you missed it. If you listen to us on SoundCloud, then you got to hear one of my very, very favorite songs from one of my very, very favorite bands, Ministry. That was the title track to Filth Pig, and they did that in your studio.
Yes, they did.
And I heard that was
a good song.
Yeah, I know.
It's a great song.
Great.
He said
album.
that somebody made fun of him one day and actually called Al Jorgensen. He said someone called him a filth pig.
Really?
And that's
Not a filthy pig.
A filth pig.
Well, that makes sense because that's how they got the name Revolting Cocks, was because they were shooting pool, being assholes on Boys Town, and the guy said, "You're a bunch of revolting cocks."
Right.
Wait, I thought Luke said it was in Belgium.
See, we got different stories.
I know, there's a lot of stories.
That sounds more right though to be Belgium, because that's definitely
does.
like, it's like going to England. You could say cunt.
Weren't like
Reid
Luke
would
and
know.
Chris and Al getting drunk, and the guy threw him out of the bar and said, "You're just a bunch of revolting cocks." Get out of here.
That sounds you're a bunch of revolting cocks.
I mean, that could happen,
They
actually.
didn't like
but-
the name, they took it.
So, Too Dark, our executive producer, he sent me some questions for you.
Okay.
His first
Don't
is,
have any answers, but
were any of the master tapes from Trax list in the recent studio fire in Los Angeles?
I doubt it. We had all the Ministry tapes, all the Wax Trax tapes that Al worked on were kept at the studio in the library with Al.
Okay.
Al had his own library.
We
So he took them.
Al and Paul.
Yeah. So are there copies made anywhere? Just in case?
There were
Because
some
those
missing.
guys.
There were some
they're
missing
rock
that I helped
stars.
get them back.
Well,
They could lose
They
things
cleaned out some
easily.
space and they found these tapes, and then I helped get those
Yeah,
back.
I remember that.
They
I
weren't
remember
missing
that.
from Trax.
They were the masters to, I believe, Filth Pig, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my
That's not
goodness! See what I'm
surprising.
saying? It
And
just
So
goes
it was
missing, or people
Ivan
steal
Russia
things.
that helped me get them back.
No,
for them. He found
all
them.
their tapes were in one room, locked up all the time, not with anyone else's tapes.
How was how are you able to maintain the functionality of the studio with all the partying?
That was the functionality. It
why
was
it
the
costs a lot
party.
of
It was
money.
creative
Right.
insanity
Those
all
were the-
day long,
those were the
all
great
night
old
long.
days. How was the studio impacted by the success of Wax Trax in the Chicago scene?
Oh, well, you know, we had this relationship with Wax Trax. It was like everything that they did and we did together, it was just like magic.
I didn't get to meet Jim, but I had a great friendship with Danny up until he passed. I loved that house over there. He had over there
Damon?
the offices and Danny's
On
house
Damon.
on Damon. Yeah,
I met him
Bucktown.
too at that time.
Above
place
the
was-
record store.
That place was cool. There's no record store there at the time though. It was a beauty shop. I moved here in '98, so I missed all that. And
Would have been right around the time I went over there too.
he had this big, gorgeous chandelier type thing that Frank gave him, and Danny's showing me all these really cool things. He had a cool pad there. He shared it
Yeah,
with
he
his
did.
office,
Yep.
so it was like I think he owned that whole building.
Yeah.
I think so too. And
Yeah.
we had a great relationship with him, and it was Al would always every record that we did, we also produced like 10 other records at the same time.
Right.
And we never knew which one we were working on. If we're doing something for Warner Brothers, right in the middle of it, we do Revolting Cocks, 1,000 Homo DJs, Revolting Cocks. So I don't like this one. Give it to Jello.
Oh, that's Lard, that is Jello.
And they were all great tracks. And just like, oh, well, this is a Ministry, so we're gonna, give it.
Right.
Where else can we put this?
And Al will come up to the office and go like, Reid, don't bill Warner's for this because Jim and Danny are going to take it.
You're doing the voice.
Jim and Danny are going to take it. Can you run a chicken? And and you know what? And Jim and Danny always loved the stuff that Al did. It was just a matter of like picking and choosing what went where when they did it. Not everything was for Ministry or Revolting Cocks or whatever group they were working on. The creativity was spontaneous.
He also asked, this
That's
is
what made it so fun.
I'm only asking this because Mark's asking me to ask it, but I'm sure everything was funny there. But he wants to know what's the funniest thing that happened there that sticks out in your mind at your studio.
No, probably renting the chicken. I mean,
What?
Explain.
well, after Lollapalooza, we were doing remixes of the Chili Peppers.
Now, which Lollapalooza? Just for the audience.
The one that Al was, I think,
the
was
second
one.
one. The second
Second
one with
one.
Chili Peppers.
The second
headline.
94, 90.
No, the 92,
Two, I think it was.
92,
Yeah.
Okay, I was there.
So when that was over, Al was remixing "Give It Away" for the Chili Peppers with Paul.
Right. You did the
And-
Rasta version, by the way. I remember. I love that
We
version.
did the Rasta version.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that reggae
that was
version,
very cool.
yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Really cool version. The best version there is of that song.
So
by the way.
time kept going on and on in the studio, and it was like, God, they were just unhappy with what they were getting. So Al came up to my office one day, and he's like, Reid, we need a chicken. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, right.
He needs a chicken.
No, we're not going to hurt it. We just want to rent a chicken, And I'm like, yeah, okay, for what? Well, they eat all the bad spirits in the room. I'm like, okay.
boy.
So
Whatever works.
I call the studio manager and receptionist and go, Al wants to rent a chicken. They're like, yeah, right.
I won't even ask why.
So they're calling all around, and people are like, we don't rent chickens. You want a chicken? We'll make you one. You cook it or whatever, And finally, Patty walked in with a chicken, like later in the day,
Wow.
in this wooden cage, and so we had this chicken. in the studio, flying around the studio. And Critter, who was the engineer.
Right, he's no longer with us either, man.
No,
what a guy.
What a great guy.
Yeah. So he was there?
Yeah, Critter was engineering the sessions, and he was called Critter because he would sleep under the console all the time. So Al called him Critter because, he would never leave the sessions. And one day, Al had a problem with the engineer, and he said, he kicked Critter and said, "Get up, you're the new engineer. Get the fuck up, and let's continue recording." He did Song 69. Got up and did a platinum record. So Critter's feeding him peanuts, and Al jumps up and goes, "What the fuck you doing? Chickens don't eat peanuts; they eat popcorn." He gets
Corn.
Oh, God.
So that went on for 3 days. I sent you a photo of it. I sent you a photo of it.
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
Yeah, and
we're gonna run. Yeah, those photos are.
give that to
Thank
me.
you, man. That's you shared some really, really cool stuff with us.
Oh, you're welcome. So let me just finish real quick. So after 3 days, the chicken took a shit on our console, which is
that's-
only a $300,000 console.
And I grew up on a farm. That's the worst smell that there is. Did you get it on your hand? You
No, I
can't
didn't
wash
clean
Did
it
it
up. I
ruin the
wasn't
board,
doing
or
it.
did you get? Were you
It's
No,
able-
nasty.
it went on the drum tracks. The faders for the drum tracks.
Did it help
and
them?
that's when they realized that was the problem with the mix and why they couldn't finish it. So they erased all the drum tracks, replaced it, and we returned the chicken.
they
And it was
kill
a
that
record
chicken-
was
kill that
done.
chicken
The
after he
record
pooped
was
on it.
done.
I guess that also answers the next question was, what's the most bizarre, obscene, weird thing that happened? I guess that's pretty much it.
We're going into R. Kelly land.
No,
yeah.
no.
Okay.
Now the fence will be over.
It's time to do that. Okay, so then comes R. Kelly.
I think
And
we
this
did
would have been
anything
what?
wrong.
What year? Around 2000?
No. R. Kelly, Gavin Christopher, producer Gavin Christopher, found Rob. We called him Rob. He was not R at the
You're
time.
right. Yep.
On the subway, playing guitar and singing, or keyboards and singing, and he brought him into the studio.
He was
and
a
like,
busker. He used to sing in front of McDonald's.
He still goes to McDonald's.
And he
not for,
still loves
not
the
for,
McDonald's. That's
not
why.
to play.
Yeah, no.
But not
Music.
to make $20 in front of anymore.
So
You might have to go back
okay,
to that.
Ty, I want to hear the R. Kelly shit. So how'd that start?
Gavin brought him in. We all thought, wow, this guy is just a major talent. He really is brilliant.
Yeah.
And so we started working with him in the studio and working with other artists and writing. And he had, what was it, MGM, I
Jay-Z
think was the
was
name
there.
of the group. Well, Jay-Z was there later on.
Later on.
Jay-Z was there with
When
R.
we
Kelly
were
when we did Best of Both Worlds and Unfinished Business, I think it was.
That impressed me.
But this was before that. This was like in 85,
Wow.
maybe.
Wow.
I believe I can,
80s.
way before I Believe I Can Fly. And
Oh, yeah. This is when Rob
Right.
didn't have a pot to
penny.
piss in.
Right. He was a busker, like singing for
Mm-hmm.
change.
So, he was signed to a label that drug dealers owned, and they'd come and give us cash. A bag of cash. Here we go.
That's nice.
Here's your payment.
I love bags of cash.
Yeah, yes.
And eventually he did Born into the 90s. He started that at Trax with a producer-engineer named Peter Mokran. Trying to steal the mic.
I'm just really interested in the story right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Peter wanted to go digital, which at the time was popping up and had more tracks, and they ended up going to CRC, which was a studio we did a lot of work with.
Right.
And then after that, we didn't see Rob for a long time, and then Rob eventually came back, and we ended up doing, got a ton of records. TP2.com, Gotham City. We didn't do I Believe I Could Fly, but we remixed it.
Okay.
This Celine Dion one, I'm Your Angel, Jay-Z.
Right.
Rob had his own record label that Jimmy Iovine gave him, which didn't work out too well. Jimmy got pretty frustrated with Rob.
So
He does Tom
at some
Petty,
point,
too.
Rob bought Trax. And
No.
no, that's not how it went. How'd that go?
No.
How did
Rob-
it become the Chocolate Factory?
Well, what happened was, at one point, we had 6 studios. 4 music and 2 additional at the studios. Rob was in one all the time, and it was kind of like, okay, we'll rent you out the studio, you can lease it out, and you can buy the equipment in there. And he called that little room the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
That's what I was
Oh,
gonna say.
okay.
Wait, like,
Yeah.
is it like mostly hip hop artists there now?
It's not there.
It's not.
anymore.
No, it's
No,
a
it's not
parking
there.
lot.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
Because
not that-
I've been to a studio called that, and it's
Oh,
all
the
like
Chocolate
hip hop
Factory.
art. Yeah.
Well, Rob called everything the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, it's
Willy
like
Wonka.
Okay.
It's like a fictional term in his music.
Did you catch that? Willy Wonka with the kiddos. So
I don't think that's what it meant, but
they're
And here we thought we were the bad boys and girls at Trax.
Right,
Little did
right.
we know he was
But-
even worse than we could ever be.
yeah.
you see what happened was when we closed Trax and sold the building, Rob rented the property and he called it the Chocolate Factory for a year after we closed. So
Because I remember there'd be the Trax logo and the neon or whatever
Right
small.
in
'cause
front.
it was it's a part of town you didn't really want to go to because Cabrini Green was right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then one night I went past.
They had
and
incredible security,
Your
though.
neon was gone, and it said the Chocolate Factory. But then I went by one day, and there was nothing there.
Oh, yeah.
Bulldozers. And I'm just like, well, that should be a fucking historical landmark.
Happens
I'm
in big
sure
cities.
in my world and in a lot of our worlds, it should be.
Actually, Halstead should have been a landmark. Even though we did most of our gold and platinum records on Larrabee,
Yeah.
and we did a lot of them, Halstead had that magic.
That's right.
Yeah, North Side does.
Yeah.
I really, I love the North Side. Well, you're still on the North Side. I mean, Chris
Yeah.
Conley's on the North Side. Yeah, I mean, I don't blend in this neighborhood very well, but I love it. I love where I live. So, could you foresee the drama that's going on right now with him? Was there any hint or clue that maybe something wasn't right?
No, not when it first started. I didn't believe it.
Okay.
I really didn't believe it. I mean, Rob was a womanizer. There were always women around, but we had other artists around. We're working with Al, with Ministry, David Bowie. We had a flow of artists going in, a flow of people going in, and Rob had a lot of women there. But who paid attention?
Right.
Seriously.
Because you're working.
You're working.
And that's part of the position description. Again, wine, women, and song.
It was just like, who had time? We're running a business. It really is a business. You're running a business, and you're dealing with different artists who have different needs all the time. And okay, Rob has women, they're a big deal. Other people had other things that are a big deal. We're
It
making
wasn't
music.
the day and the age of the cameras everywhere and social media, and everyone's looking at each other's business.
So I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Wow.
Never noticed it.
And, at one point, we went on Cliff Kelly show and said, no, we don't believe this. It didn't happen. We can't believe Rob is with underage women. We knew he's a womanizer. We all of that. We knew that.
Right.
We just had no idea of how in-depth it was. And then he was indicted. And, at the end of the day, he was off. They let him go. And at that point, I think everybody looked at it and said, okay, something's up. But
Did he think maybe he was a Teflon Don at that time and nothing sticks? Or
I just don't know. Rob to me had two personalities. Well, he was two different people. It was Rob and he was R. Kelly.
Yeah. Wow.
And Rob was the young, naive guy, the brilliant artist who didn't really know what was going on, the super nice guy. And R. Kelly all of a sudden became this major star.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, you told me something last week
I did.
about
I don't recall that.
relaunching Trax.
Yes, I did.
Can we talk about that, please?
Yeah, we can. One of the things that when Trax closed, I was kind of like, okay, it's part of history. We did it, and I thought I'll move on. Let's do some other things. But over the last, several years, I've been thinking like, there's no studio like Trax, and that keeps coming up and up again. Trax was a very high-end studio. It was insane. It was not run like any other studio. It was wild. It was insane. And I'm thinking, like, we need to reopen this. So I've been talking to different people about doing it, and I've had different proposals come to me. And so they're like, oh, hey, we'd like to do this. What do you think about putting on, some mediocre digital gear? And I'm like, no, I won't do it. I'd rather not reopen the studio and have it my name on it and the Trax name on it, and have a mediocre room that everybody has in their basement.
Right. So you're gonna bring back analog then and run both analog and digital?
Absolutely.
Because that's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want to do, and I'm talking to people who want to invest, who want to be part of it, and what we're looking at is doing 2 really high-end rooms.
Okay, and they'll be would they be the same room? Would they mirror each other, or will one be?
We did that at one point. I don't think they will. But we don't know yet until we find the facility. I found several that
I
we're
guess
looking at.
being what you do now, we won't have a problem finding any real estate.
I found Rob's studio.
The one where they just recently, where he was living?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I represented Rob on that deal.
So, anybody talk to you with those that documentary? Was that Lifetime that did that?
Yeah, they wanted me to. They wanted me to interview and be on it, and I said, I'm not going to do it. I don't want my name on it, and I don't want to be part of it. And you have no mutual creative control. Everything you say, they're going to edit it, and cut it up,
like TMZ. Yeah,
they did it to Craig Williams on there.
Same thing for Al. Nothing, not a word, nothing.
No, you just don't want to be on that shit because,
That's right.
once it gets to the editing table, you're screwed. And then
That's
people
right.
look at you and you go like, okay, I reopen Trax and people look at me if I did it and say, well, what's he going to say about me?
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because, Trax, again, was all about creative insanity, and whatever happened, happened.
Right.
Do you hope to record with some of the old crew? Like
Certainly, yeah.
Like the bands Thrill Kill, Ministry again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that would be wonderful, man.
I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that Al will come in. I think he will.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he
yes.
has to,
Would you do R. Kelly though?
I don't think anybody's going to be seeing...
I don't think we can move that studio to a prison.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Rob's going to be getting out there soon.
No, it's
HR from
pretty
Bad
bad.
Brains sang Quickness, one song, Sacred Love, over the phone from prison. So, yeah, that's on...
What's his Locked in the Closet?
Oh, yeah. South Park did a whole thing about that. And what I was going to say, speaking of South Park, we didn't get to the one quote that you posted. It said, how did a generation that grew up on South Park and a Family Guy become offended by everything? Because this is the millennials.
Because it's not the millennials. It's a generation under. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people of all age who are like offended by everything, but it's I don't know.
It's hard to offend me.
It's a little bit of everybody.
I don't get offended very
That's
easily.
what I want.
I'm just nice to everybody.
Yes,
That's
you
good.
are.
Don't
You
say
should
mean
be.
things.
Yeah.
I was, I mean, look at what went on in our studio.
We're going to do this spot. We're going to be right back.
You're listening to the MKULTRASOUND podcast. You can follow us now on SoundCloud, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Sign up and follow, and you can win your chance to get a set of tickets to see Pigface live this fall. Win a genuine voodoo doll from Quarter Kids in New Orleans, Louisiana, or a beard grooming kit from Killer Beards.
That's right. Now, all you have to do is like us on YouTube or SoundCloud, and you'll be eligible for that contest. And the Pigface tickets go for just about any show in the United States. And I'm looking forward to see who gets those, because that is going to be a great fucking prize. That first Pigface tour in 14 years.
Oh, yeah.
They did the one-off. They did the reunion back in 2016, but there's not been a full reunion. So I don't know much about who's in this band yet.
And they haven't put anything out
I know
about
a
it,
couple
yeah.
people that I'm privy to knowing, been given information on it, but that's definitely going to be a good show. Now, Cassie, you've got something a little bit to do with this, possibly, right?
Yeah, I might be going down to Louisiana to shoot with them. I'm really excited. I really want to.
I told Martin Atkins I'm driving the bus, and that was today.
Road trip.
I got a message from Reid. He said Martin Atkins said hi. And I'm like, hi, because Martin was the first guest that we had on this show.
I see him over at Fort Knox.
Oh yeah,
practice over
God,
there
he
as
fucking
well,
lives.
yeah.
He's over there a lot.
I told him I'd even get a license. But then I said, fuck it, I'll just drive the bus.
Oh,
Just for the fun, man.
Oh God. So Cassie, anything cool coming up or anything? This is Cassie's Corner. Your 5 minutes of fame each week. So.
Well, considering we just did a show on Sunday, so the same shows are like coming up and everything like that.
Anything that you're really looking for? You mentioned Toby Keith, but is there anything else really?
Toby Keith is on Saturday.
And then we've got a show Sunday.
I want to try to get to that one. So.
And I want to hit up a couple of LA Guns shows coming up. There's one September 8th in Highland, Indiana, and then they're doing
September's coming up soon, isn't it?
There's a Halloween LA Gun show north of here, up by Beloit, and
there's so many.
And
good
then there's
shows
another LA
coming
Gun
up.
show November with Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, his new band. And that's in
Nice.
St. Charles. I want to hit that up. And of course, she's my number one ace photographer right now. So, but
Yeah, get me with my camera.
there's always a problem with
I've been working in the studio last
guitar
few
players
days,
falling in
but-
love with her. You know, I don't think you have to worry about Artie anymore because he's in Lamb of God now. And Prong is coming back through, and they've got Aaron Rossi back with them, who was in Prong and then in Ministry.
Nice.
And then still the same bass player. So, yeah, that's going to be Reggie's. I'm looking forward to that, man. That's
Reggie's.
yeah. Remember last time we went there and I had to make a run out and for that guy from Angel? That was
Yeah.
fucking hysterical. God.
Good times.
People can smell their own.
I
All
wonder what you're talking about.
Of all the people, they always come up to me and ask if I can find something for.
Yeah.
Fuck. No.
Are we underground or not?
No,
Like,
it's
come on.
it's prostitutes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Seriously.
Well, there you go.
You know, I wanted to talk
follows
about this wonderful show I just finished watching last night called The Boys. It's on
Heard about this.
Amazon
Crazy.
Prime. Yeah, it's an anti-superhero show. Basically, I say when people ask me, like, superheroes who are assholes. These crime fighters are the bad guys, arrogant and corporatized, and they rape,
Right.
they kill people, and then the boys are a title of a motley, disreputable bunch of misfit kind of guys who take them on.
Right.
And I just love this show because the superheroes were dicks. They had this guy, they've got like their Superman who's like half Superman, Captain America. They've got a Wonder Woman type. They've got an invisible guy called
And they're all
Translucent.
corrupt, or they're just bad
They're
guys?
fucking bad. They're really bad people.
I need to
And
watch
then
it.
they've got this guy that's like their version of Aquaman, who's called the Deep.
Okay.
And all I'm going to say about this show is that in like the first 5-10 minutes, the new recruit, who's a girl, Starbite, comes in and he makes her suck his cock to get to stay in a group, and she's puking. And then that comes up. There's a little bit of Me Too movement, but
Is that good?
all in all, yeah, was it? Well,
The boy.
he's a half fish. He's got gills here in his abdomen, and women like to play with him. Yeah, it's a twisted show. It's very
You
politically-
learned all that from that one.
It's very politically incorrect. There's like 8 episodes. They're fantastic. I've never seen anything like it. And it's reasons like that,
They're raving
like
about
taking a chance to do a show like that is why Netflix is going so PC. They're really losing money.
Uh-huh.
And
Netflix,
you're on
come on.
fucking
I got
cable. I
some
mean,
stock in you. Let's
there's
go.
no rules when it's completely unregulated. You just can't show penetration, but still,
Amazon Prime is taking over, right?
I really
think
like
they
Amazon
are.
Prime. And, the superhero shows are gone from Netflix after, they just closed those out. But Disney Prime starts in November, and they're doing the whole Marvel reboots and the Marvel series, which I can't wait for. But I wanted to talk about that last week, but we got ahead of ourselves, and we're running out of time. Oh, man.
We got nothing but time.
Oh, wait. We've got one more sponsor.
Want a killer look without breaking your wallet? Try Killer Beards. All beard products are made with natural ingredients to stop beard dandruff and itching before it starts while giving you a smooth, silky beard that smells amazing. Choose from 5 amazing scents that will have everyone saying,
Wow, that's a killer beard, and it sure does smell good.
Also available are shampoo and bars of rough cut soap. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy at etsy.com/shop/Killer Beards. That's Killer Beards. Use the discount code MKUltra20 for 20% off. That's MKUltra20.
We're on YouTube, so everything's on film.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't sign a release.
So anyway, the YouTube show, Cassie works very hard on it. We're getting a lot of compliments on the edits. And what I'm going to do in the next 24 hours is, since I don't work tomorrow, when I'm done cleaning the rest of this house, my office, because I want to show that area too. There's a special room I want to show my guest on Saturday, and the room I'm talking about. So then I'm gonna take the titles
like
on the YouTube shows, Cassie, that you put up, and I want to put the names of the guests in there so people know, like not just the date, but to put the names of the guests, and so they'll have just like the one that's only audio with Scott Davidson.
Yeah.
We're going to put on there Scott Davidson 25th anniversary of Rebel Radio, and they're going to come back on the show probably in September with Leanne.
Awesome.
The drummer for
So
Pigface,
is
Beer
there
Nuts, and
special
everybody else.
room like the R. Kelly log cabin room?
We're not going to talk about it now. So yeah, so you look at the shows. You can see last week Mark Grobel was great punk rocker
Yeah,
here.
he's an awesome guy.
Tonight, the great Reid Hyams. next Sunday.
You're awesome too.
Yeah, you got some great shit to talk about.
I love you
Angela
guys.
Dink,
Thank you for coming, Reid.
blogger
You're
at Coffee
welcome.
or
Thank you for
Suicide.
inviting
Michael X. Christian, we're going to do on the 15th. It's a Thursday afternoon. He's going to do it in character. He's the vocalist for Misery Machine, so we're going to tape him getting into his Manson outfit or unoutfit because he's pretty much naked. And then on the 25th, Dan Milligan from the industrial supergroup The Joy Thieves. And on September 1st, my favorite hard rock band, and they're out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. They were supposed to play Reggie's with that the original singer for AC/DC. That show got canceled, so the band's still going to come here that day. That's September 1st.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's going to be a really, really great time. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's just I can't believe you're here. This is just the
Thanks
greatest,
for
man.
inviting me. This is great, you know.
Getting around the schedule is, it's kind of hard for both of us during the week. So it just worked out great, and I couldn't thank you
We'll have
enough.
to do it again. There's more stories.
Yeah,
well-
absolutely more stories. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
We need to do is
Years
get
and
you on and somebody else who is there recording. So
Al.
yes, we need to get you
And
out.
Jello.
Wow.
Jello, yeah, I've been to Jello's
good one.
his home in San Francisco in the Castro district.
We're now friends on LinkedIn. I can't imagine what he has.
Oh,
on
you and
there.
Jello?
Yeah, it happened yesterday. It popped up on my phone.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't looked yet.
That's some really, really cool shit. We're gonna take one more quick break and we're gonna come right back.
I'm just a hired gun. Now's your chance to catch Pigface live November 15th in Cleveland, Ohio, all the way through November 30th in Chicago, Illinois. For tickets and other information, go to martinatkins.bigcartel.com. Hurry, tickets are selling out quick.
So since our Sunday show this week, we've had listeners, of course, Chicago. We've had somebody in Raleigh, North Carolina. I wonder who that could be. Listened to 5 different shows since Sunday. Monee, Illinois, Detroit City, Rock City, Dundee, Illinois, Newark, Ohio, Bradley, Illinois, Las Vegas, Nevada. That must be Fred the homo that I'm friends with. And you got to hear this story after I close these out. Gallipolis, Ohio, Ballina, Ireland. I think that's Mike Ryan.
Oh,
I think that's Mike Ryan.
Mike Ryan.
Good
Wow.
old friend of ours.
Yes,
Managed
absolutely.
Skinny Puppy for a minute. Dundee, Florida. I think that's the hot black girl I met when I was down there with Electric Hellfire Club and for the reunion show December of 2016. Edmonton, Canada. Dublin, Ohio, Rolling Meadows, Illinois, Sterling Heights, Michigan, Cannonsburg, PA, home of Perry Como. I think the ghost of Perry Como is listening to us. Is he even dead?
Perry Como's house. Isn't there a song like that? There is. Perry Como's house.
No kidding.
Yeah, we'll do it afterwards.
Man, Ty, you got anything coming up? No. Oh, well, yeah, you do have some news.
We're gonna record this Friday. Yeah.
Yes. Are you doing that over at Knox?
No, we're gonna. No, we're not.
It's going to be her and Danny Lee Hill's band, the Pink Stink Rails, and that's something I've been looking forward to. Good, because you were supposed to start that about a month ago.
Yeah.
And just, wow.
No, actually, it was this month, so we're still on track.
Man, this is summer's. It's already fucking August.
It'll be snowing.
And there's Halloween decorations out. I'm so happy.
Still the.
Oh, that's better than.
Black Friday's coming next week.
Why don't we have a White Friday? Every Friday's White Friday. So, man, it's great. So you'll come back?
Absolutely.
That's fucking wonderful, Ty. Thank you. I know you work
Hyams, man.
and you lost some hours today, so I appreciate it.
Oh, no big deal.
They
Thank
bought the
you.
refreshments. Cassie, as always, you're just the fucking greatest, and I love working with you. You're so good. You're so professional.
I'm having fun.
This YouTube thing is, and now it's going to get more fun because you're going to have the pictures of him to run this week
Oh,
for this episode. All the pictures he sent
Yeah,
today. Yeah.
yeah.
Really good, fun stuff.
I like them.
So check out the YouTube and
Yeah,
subscribe.
YouTube. It's
I
saying
will.
subscribe. It's on MKULTRASOUND podcast, and if it doesn't come up immediately, put Chicago in your search area or Alexander, and it'll come up that way.
I'll find you
Anybody got anything else to say before we say goodnight?
where you are.
We
Night,
you Sunday.
Gracie.
Yep, we'll talk to you Sunday. Thanks for listening, everybody.
You've been listening to the MK Ultrasound podcast with your hosts Alexander, Tycoon, and Cassandra Belazic, and I'm your executive producer, Too Dark. Please listen to us next time to see what's gonna happen next. This has been the MK Ultrasound podcast.